Welcome everyone to skill number 4, the follow-up. Now listen, follow-up covers really two topics. One is getting people in conversation and keeping them in conversation, setting your right sort of expectation. And the second part is answering questions and dealing with objections, overcoming objections, because that used to strike fear into my heart. So we're going to cover both of those today. I'm very excited to be able to provide this information to you. And I've got a couple different resources that we're going to utilize today. One is from a recent course that I did on how to recruit 20 people in 30 days. I talk about follow-up in a kind of unique way, and I want you to check out this training. And we're going to deal with the first part first, which makes sense, logical, right? And then we'll get to objections after that. So check it out. Follow up. Follow up. Now, I used to never follow up. When I'd go talk to people, and if they said, "Oh, I'm thinking about it," or if they said, "Oh, I'm not sure, I need to talk to my spouse," or whatever, I would just avoid them. "Oh, they're not ready, and some will, some won't, so what? Next." And I would just keep moving. And I want you to understand a couple things about follow-up. The first thing to understand is you're asking people to make a business decision, to actually start a business. Most people have been trained to be employees for their whole life. You're asking people to start a business. And then we expect them to say, "Oh, sure, sign me up." Because the price is so low and it's so easy to do, so flexible, all that stuff. And all that stuff's true. But here's another thing that's true. Most people need a little bit of time to kind of let this sink in, to feel more comfortable with this decision, to get a little bit more information. And the most frustrated people in network marketing are the people who they themselves saw the opportunity and they said, "Yes, I'm ready to go. I'm in. Let's go." If that's you, you've probably been frustrated ever since because you talked to somebody and they're not ready to go in the first exposure. So there's something called the clock dial. And if this is high noon, right? And the clock dial moves, and people are on different parts of the clock dial. So let's say the clock dial is at 3 p.m. or 3 a.m., whatever. Say 3 o'clock. Clock dial's at 3 o'clock. And what that means for somebody is something's happened in their life that they don't particularly like. Maybe something's changed in their work, something's changed in their cash flow, something's changed with their bills, something's changed that's caused them to be a little dissatisfied, but nobody else knows. They're the only one that knows, okay? So 3 p.m. people, or 3 o'clock people might be open, but you know what they're more interested in? Fixing the problem. They're not interested in starting something new. They're more invested in what they're currently doing, and they're trying to fix whatever situation that they're in, okay? If they got a big problem at work, they're trying to fix that problem at work. If they got a big problem with the bills, they're trying to fix that problem with the bills. You know what I mean? So 3 o'clock, something's happened, they're the only one that knows, and they're trying to fix it. 6 o'clock, now they're not the only one that knows. They know that something's wrong. Now the family knows that something's wrong. Other people know that something's wrong. And it's like DEFCON 4. I mean, it's really a difficult situation, and they're in scramble mode. Okay? 9 o'clock it's become obvious that if something doesn't change, they're in big trouble, okay? They've got to change, otherwise they start to be open basically between here and here. They start to be open to opportunity. High noon, they're saying, "Sign me up. I'm ready to go. Sign me up. That's high noon. Okay? So we're going to be talking to as many people as possible, and we're going to be following up, but we're also going to accept the fact that not everybody's going to be at high noon. You're trying to catch them between 9 and noon. Here, they got ego involved, and they're either everything's going great, well, oh, there's a problem, but they're invested, they get their ego involved, and they're not really ready to go look at something new. They don't want to give up on fixing the problem that they have. Here, it's getting pretty bad, but they're still, they're going to fight through it. Here, it's over. It's clear that something's got to change. The old path is not going to do it. Maybe they got fired here. Maybe they got, demoted here. Maybe they got a huge tax bill here that created a problem for them, or they got a big, medical bill here, and this is what they have going on is not going to solve it. They got to do something. This point is they got to do something. Here is their sign me. So these modes, you can still sign people up in every place of the clock dial, but this is where the money is. This is where people are like, I've been waiting. I've been looking for something. I'm ready to go. So we're going to keep following up, and this could change in a moment. This could change. You talk to somebody in the first day of your 20 and 30, and they're here. Day 5, they're here. Day 10, they're here. Day 15, they're just like, okay, I got to do something. They're here. So here, they're not interested. They're invested in something else. They're focused someplace else. Here, they have a slight interest, but they're still distracted by other things. Here, interest is getting pretty high. Here, sign me up. Okay? So we're going to be following up in this 30 days and also beyond this 30 days. And we're just going to accept the fact that we're going to talk to enough people and we're going to follow up professionally to be able to find them in a moment where they're ready to be open. Same prospect, not open, maybe open, open. Same prospect. Okay? So we've got to get good at follow-up. Follow-up, it takes an average, if you're doing face-to-face interactions with a prospect, it takes between 4 to 6 exposures for a person to make a decision and join. Between 4 and 6. If you're talking to them on the phone, you're sending them a text message, if you're sitting down with them for coffee, whatever it happens to be, 4 to 6 exposures. Now, if you're just doing social media, 15 to 30 exposures. Using social media. Why? I mean, I tell the story. Have you seen any ads for the MyPillow people? Hi, my name's Chuck Lindell, or whatever his name is, Mike Lindell, and come buy MyPillow because MyPillow's amazing. Go to mypillow.com to buy the best pillow ever. Now, I've seen that ad hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. Marina has asked me to buy a MyPillow, and I still haven't done it, even though I intend to. So I've seen probably 1,000 times online and hundreds of times on television. And I have somebody in the family saying, yes, do it. But if somebody gave me an easy just made it easy for me, I would do it. But even though I'm intending to, it's taking more exposures for me to finally pull the trigger and do that. See what I'm saying? So if you see an ad that totally fits you, like I saw an ad, sometimes it's one exposure. If a person's really hungry. I'll give you an example. I saw an ad yesterday that one ad made me buy. And here's why. I'm very inflexible. I can't touch my toes to save my life. No shot. I mean, literally, no kidding, that's about as far as I can go right now. I'm so inflexible. Now, this ad shows a guy, and he's doing the full splits, sitting on the floor, full sideways splits. And he said, I can have you doing the splits in 5 weeks. And I was like, no way. And I read the copy, and he said, I started, and he started same spot as I started. And I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever, because my inflexibility is creating back problems for me, all the different kinds of things for me. I am invested in getting flexible. I have a person coming to my house right now stretching me. And this guy says, because of his science and the way he's figured it out, and it's a completely different than what everybody else does, that he can have me doing the splits in 5 weeks? What? Fine. I read it all the testimonials. I watched all the videos. The sales page was amazing. Presentation was professional, sharp, cost me $29. I bought. Done. One time, one exposure. Why? Because I've made a decision very recently that I got to get my flexibility in shape. I am here. Straight up high noon. Sign me up. Give me the thing. Here's my money. Okay? Now, if you would have talked to me about that doing the splits a year ago, I was here. I'm not interested. Right? But right now, my back hurts. Right now. Because I'm so inflexible that it's taken my body out of whack, and I've had a personal, physical therapist tell me that if I don't get flexible, I'm going to have back problems the rest of my life. And I see an average guy doing the splits. Now, if I can do the splits, I'll show you if I do. If I can, I'm still hugely skeptical of being able to do the splits. I'd be happy. He told me, right? He was here day one. By his third day, he was touching the floor, touching his toes. By day 7, he was palms to the floor. It would be such a breakthrough if I was palms to the floor. Forget splits. You know what I mean? Splits is like telling people if they join your business, they're going to get rich, right? They might just want to make a few extra bucks and enjoy the product. So for me, I just want progress. So one exposure for that, done. Hundreds of exposures for my pillow. Still haven't pulled the trigger, even though I'm interested. Okay? We need to do the exposures necessary in order to be able to help a person make a decision, make it easy. If we find them at high noon, they're going to buy, they're going to join. If we find them here, it's going to take a little bit of a process. We're going to stay in communication. So we want to go, the only reason for an exposure now, what is an exposure? Anything that helps to educate the prospect. Okay? So it could be a product sample. It could be sit down for coffee and talk about it. It could be showing them the compensation plan. It could be having them watch a video, having them read a magazine, having them check out a clinical study, meeting another person, a 3-way call, a 3-way messenger with your upline, getting them on a Zoom call, having them attend an event, whatever it happens to be. The only reason for an exposure of any sort is to schedule the next exposure. Remember I talked about conversation is the key to business? The only reason for you to have an exposure, you're going to sit down with them for coffee. Okay? Your purpose in that coffee, before you sit down, before you order your latte or whatever it is, your mission needs to be not to close them, not to sign them. Your mission needs to be to schedule the next exposure. When you go walk into Starbucks, your mission needs to be, when I'm done with this conversation, I need to schedule the next one. And I need to schedule it before I leave this one. So a person, you're sitting